I'd made an ass of myself giving a speech at the annual Lawyer Association dinner in Toledo. It was the first time I returned to Spain after many years abroad, and my friend Nicky Weld, an English literature teacher who took a few days off to help me, wouldn't stop criticizing me over breakfast. I'd made the mistake of not following my prepared speech to criticize a statement made by another lawyer. I'd made a number of assumptions from one of his statements, which left me open to a rebuttal, which was promptly made. I kept trying to explain myself, but Nicholas Weld, who could never drop his pedagogical manner, treated me like one of his students, replied,
"That's no excuse."
I know I ran the risk of making a fool of myself, but everything I said, it made sense, though.
That's just the problem, my dear friend. If you draw conclusions from what you read or hear, you're generally wrong.
Okay, hurry up. In half an hour, I have to deliver the speech. How can you wake up and eat that?
You're a lawyer. You should know. In some cases, the hard thing is not to discover what the speaker wishes to convey, but rather what he wishes to conceal. And for Christ's sake, stop chewing that bloody thing. The coffee's cold.
I suppose you're referring to cross-examination of witnesses in court. Well, there's always an opposing counsel who will object if the conclusion is illogical.
Who said anything about logic? A conclusion can be logical and still not be true. Give me a sentence of 10 or 12 words, and I'll build you a logical chain of conclusion that you never dreamt of when you said the sentence.
Can you spot me? Thank you. Caminar 13 kilómetros no es broma, especialmente si llueve.
What?
A 9-mile walk is no joke, especially in the rain.
Sure. What the hell are you talking about?
Well, it's a sentence, and it has 10 words. 9-mile walk is no joke, especially in the rain. 11.
So what about it?
Well, you said that giving a sentence of 10 or 12 words.
Oh, yeah. Where did you get it?
I don't know, it's popped into my head. Come on now, try your conclusions.
You're serious about this? You really want me to?
It was your idea, man.
All right. No need to get huffy. I'll go along with it. What was it you said? A 9-mile walk is no joke, especially in the rain, right? Didn't give you much to work with.
It's more than 10 words.
First conclusion, the speaker is upset.
That hardly seems to be a conclusion. It's understood in the statement.
Next one, the rain was unforeseen. Otherwise, he would have said a 9-mile walk in the rain is no joke, instead of using the word especially as an afterthought.
That's pretty obvious.
First inferences should be obvious. Next conclusion, the speaker is not an athlete nor an outdoorsman.
Oh, you're gonna have to explain that one.
Well, the speaker does not say that a 9-mile walk in the rain is no joke, but merely the walk. Just the distance, mind you, is no joke. Now, 9 miles is not such a terribly long distance. You walk more than half that in 18 holes of golf. And golf, they say, is an old man's game. I play golf.
Well, that would be all right under ordinary circumstances. But there are other possibilities. The speaker might be a soldier in the jungle, in which case 9 miles would be a pretty good hike. Rain or no rain.
Yes, one-legged. For that matter, the speaker might be a graduate student writing a PhD thesis on humor and starting by listing all the things that are not funny. See, here I have to make a couple of assumptions before I continue.
What do you mean?
Well, remember, I'm taking this sentence out of the blue. I don't know who said it or what the context is. Normally, a sentence belongs in the framework of a situation.
Okay. What assumptions do you want to make?
For one thing, I want to assume that the intention was not frivolous. that the speaker is referring to a walk that was actually taken, and that the purpose of the walk was not to win a bet or something of that sort.
Yeah, that seems reasonable enough.
Do you know where we are?
No.
I also want to assume that the walk took place here.
You mean in Toledo?
Not necessarily. I mean, in this general section of the country.
Fair enough. Just today, it rained the whole night.
In London, we're used to walking under the rain. It's absurd to even mention it.
Perdone, ¿sabe cómo se llega al Hotel Imperio?
Well, go on.
Then, if you grant those assumptions, you'll have to accept my next inference. The walk was taken late at night or early in the morning, say between midnight and 5 or 6.
How do you figure that one?
Well, consider the distance. 9 miles. We're in a fairly well-populated section. Take any road and you'll find a community of some sort in less than 9 miles. Now, look. Kobisa is 6 miles away. Burgilios is 7 miles away. Polan is 11. And Arges is 8. But you strike Arges before you come to Polan. There's a local bus and train service for almost every place.
Come on!
Would anyone have to walk 9 miles in the rain unless it were late at night when no trains or buses were running and when the few automobiles that were out would hesitate to pick up a stranger on the highway?
Might not have wanted to be seen. Let's go.
You think he would be less noticeable trudging along the road than he would be riding in a public conveyance where everyone is usually absorbed in his newspaper?
Fine. Let's move.
Then try this one. He was walking toward a town rather than away from one.
I see. If he were in a town, he could probably arrange for some sort of transportation. Is that what you're saying?
Partly that. But there is also a conclusion to be drawn from the distance. Remember, it's a 9-mile walk. And 9 is an exact number.
Sorry, but I don't get it.
Suppose you say, I took a 10-mile walk. I would assume that you actually walked anywhere from 8 to a dozen miles. In other words, 10 like 100 are round numbers. You might have walked exactly 10 miles, or just as likely you might have walked approximately 10 miles. But when you speak of walking 9 miles, I have a right to assume that you have named an exact figure. Now, we are far more likely to know the distance from a given point to the city than otherwise. That is, ask anyone in the city how far out is Polan, and if he knows, he will say 10 or 12 miles. But ask a Polan countryman how far he lives from the city, and he will tell you 11 miles and 6/10 exactly.
That's a stretch, Nicky.
I'm just getting started, Carlos. Just getting started. He was obviously going to a specific place at a specific time. It's not like if he was looking for help because his car broke down or something.
Well, come now. The car breakdown is the most probable situation.
Rather than walk 9 miles in the rain, he would have curled up in the back seat and gone to sleep. Or at least stayed by his car and tried to draw the attention of another motorist. Remember, it's 9 miles. What would be the least it would take him to hike it?
4 hours?
Certainly no less, considering the rain. In fact, if he were going for help, he wouldn't have to go all the way to town. Only as far as the nearest telephone. No, he had a definitive appointment, and it was in a town.
Then, why couldn't he have taken the last bus and waited there until his appointment? How about it, Nicky? Why couldn't he have got there earlier and waited?
He could have, but since he did not, we must assume that for whatever reason he missed the last